Always in a position of doing the science and trying to justify the Native education and the Native component, or doing the Native education and justifying the science. And now I got the best of both worlds. This is our new totem park. We replaced all the poles in the last few years.
Home is where the heart is for Wendy Smythe, Heidelberg, Alaska, accessible only by plane or boat at the far southern tip of southeast Alaska.
It's just a beautiful, magical place for me. It's where my soul is at peace. I like to go home and go in the water and just be home.
Here on Prince of Wales Island, Wendy grew up with her grandparents on the family fishing boat. In her teens, she moved to Ketchikan, 3 hours away by ferry, and then to Oregon for college.
I couldn't go home for a while after I lost my grandparents because it was just too hard to not see them.
The distance made going home hard, but there was a sense that formal education was separating Wendy even more.
See, when she first came here, I told her, don't worry if they don't accept you. You're there for the kids, and that's it. And eventually the acceptance will come.
I think that's what our old people wanted. They didn't want us to be doctors and lawyers in Seattle. They wanted you to come home with your knowledge. It was uncomfortable to come home because you were educated, well educated, and it separates you away from everybody.
Wendy went on to earn not one but 2 Ph.D.s, and on more frequent trips to Heidelberg, she started working to bring what's separate together.
When you get down to the vent, geoscience is interdisciplinary. It's all together. It's a recognition that everything's connected, and it's a lot like traditional knowledge. It's interdisciplinary. Everything is there in one thing, in a sphere, and not compartmentalized. But when you switch over to academia, it's one way of thinking and one way of doing things. There's acknowledgement of other ways, but not respect.
She's been an example that I can look up to of how to support youth without causing them to lose themselves in science. And that's something that happens to a lot of Indigenous people, to minorities, is that you're asked to be one thing or the other. And it's really important to weave those things together. So I'm a weaver.
In high summer, it's culture camp that brings Wendy and hundreds of other Haida people home. The annual activities are a burst of cultural expression, from dance to Haida language.
We won't be talking about and teaching about language, but we will be able to utilize one day soon Haida language Hatkil as a medium to teach other subjects such as mathematics, science.
I want them to be proud of the Haida part of them and not hide that when they go to school, because it's oppressed when they leave. And I want them to be willing to stand and know that it's important.
Wendy also invited a group of scientists and educators here to see her own research tying together geology, chemistry, microbiology, and more.
And you can see the springs are percolating out. And we typically don't see marine and freshwater iron oxidizers cohabitating, and we found that. And so this site is very similar to some of the deep ocean sites like Luihi, where they discovered Zeta proteobacteria. Well, we found them here.
Is this continue?
I met Wendy through AISES. I think it's amazing that she continues to share her work with students, with her colleagues, and just continues to inspire us to be, better in the work that we're doing.
That little microbe.
She's incredibly dedicated to the education in her community in a way that I don't know that I've seen from other people working in the field.
It's a holistic Haida philosophy. Every child has gifts to offer, and everyone is a leader. Interest in science and rates of college going have increased with the rising tide.
Just good to see people like Wendy graduate, educate themselves at the higher level, and then come back and try to give our kids an opportunity to see, the broader picture, and, bringing our kids to American Indian Science, AISES, and letting them look at colleges.
1, 2, hoo! Hey, coming out!
Like Wendy, the mayor is a leader among many leaders. At the culmination of Culture Camp, the whole village helps raise poles for a brand new longhouse, the building of which took 4 years and dozens of hands and helpers.
The songs, when it calls our ancestors in, you could feel it. And then seeing the presence of that raven and eagle was so strong. It was so beautiful.
Wendy Smythe says she heard that ancestral call home to Heidelberg to play her part in helping students soar, strengthening a circle of reciprocity and weaving the separate into one.
It's giving back. It's giving back the culture I learned and allowing the next generation to be able to walk in the world that I've been able to walk in and provide that pathway and opportunity for them is giving back.
This is a tough part right here.
When it all comes together, it's a powerful sound with unimaginable impact.
It is what you give, and you're honored for that. When you pass, they're going to say, what did this woman do for our community? Wendy's way up there. But I have to say to her, Wendy, we're so proud of you. Hold your head up high, girl, because you represent us.